Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to another video. This is gonna be the second video that I'm filming. This is literally right after I just moved angle so you guys can have a better picture of that, but I was facing this way, but I'm just moved. But the second video is gonna be how was my used motorcycle after a year and a half of owning. So yeah, that's gonna be this video. It's gonna be more of like a talk video, and also just like a experience video, because this is my first bike, and it's a Ninja 300, Kawasaki Ninja 300 2017. So yeah, and I just showed my plate, so I'm gonna have to edit that out, unfortunately. I should have just worked on the angle. But yeah, this is my 2017 Kawasaki Ninja 300. So I've had this bike for a year and a half. It's been probably, I would say, like November. I bought it October 2024. So yeah, it's been roughly a year and a half, and it's been a great bike. This is definitely my favorite angle. Facing at it like from this way, it makes it look the most appealing in my opinion, and it makes it look like the most clean. It's the best angle. But yeah, so I just want to get into like overall ownership of the bike and like what it's been, how it's been for me. So overall, I bought this bike back in 2024 for $2,500 cash, and then I got it registered, and all that sales tax and stuff is like another 100, and then insurance is like 30. I made a video on all that, but I'm just going to briefly cover this. The new tires were the most expensive maintenance wise. I've done about 200 for each, and then 150 for labor to get them put on. Spark plugs were about 20 bucks. I did those myself along with everything else. Tires were the only thing I didn't do myself. It's definitely doable, but I just didn't want to do all that, and also because the equipment itself would have been probably like around more than 150 anyways. So I just figured it's worth it just to make somebody else do it. Chain and everything has been pretty good. I do pretty good maintenance on that. That around every 500 miles I clean it, lube it, and then I check the chain tension and everything like that. But yeah, anyone who owns a bike will tell you the rear tire gets dirty so fast, and you can see it right now too. I haven't cleaned it in a while, but yeah, I don't take it out in like bad condition, so I don't really have to clean it, other than that junk obviously. But the only thing I did to the bike were the lever guards and the spools. Everything else came with the bike. I swapped this back to a clear because when you're going fast and you're tucked, the dark one, it just kind of makes it harder for you to see. So this one's like when you're tucked, when you're tucked like that, you can at least see through it. Like, it's not like ideal angle because it kind of distorts like the image of what you see, but it's definitely better than like the super dark limo tint one that the previous owner had. I do kind of like the clear. It kind of makes it look cleaner. I do like the black too, but I just think the clear does look better in my opinion. It just makes it feel like, it just makes it feel a little less ghetto in my opinion. I don't know. And then yeah, the other thing I did too was the battery tender, just a quick connect. He had one, but it was a super old one, so I took that one out and put it in mine. I got a new tender and everything too. And then the rear brake had an issue with it. This was spongy, it was full of air, so I had to bleed that twice actually, because I think the first time I did it, I didn't do it right, and I used kind of fairly old brake fluid, so it kind of made it, like the issue reappeared, so I just used new fluid. I just did both of them again while I was at it. So, but other than that, yeah, they fixed the issue. The rear brake is all good. And these bikes do consume a fair bit of oil. So even like before the oil changes and stuff, you want to make sure you're on top of like checking the oil level and topping it up as necessary. Because they do burn oil, especially because when you're riding this bike, most of the times you're going to be around like higher RPMs on the bike. And then crash bars have been nice. I've dropped the bike twice, and I've also crashed it once. It was a very low speed, low side crash. There was a huge patch of gravel. We were just shooting some like rollers and stuff with some of my friends, or to my friends, and then I braked way too hard on like this patch of gravel, and I went down. So that was unfortunate, but thankfully it wasn't too bad. and the crash bars did take most of the impact. As you can see, it was on the other side. This reflector broke though, so that's aftermarket. I put a new one on. That's the original one. You can see the damage right there. Those got pretty badly scraped, but thankfully they took most of the damage. There was a small spot on the old tire, but this is the new one, so you can't see it obviously. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I've done oil change, coolant replacement. I didn't fully flush it, which I should have, but it's been fine. So I got most of it out, and I should have flushed it, but it was just one of those dumb things I did. But yeah, taking the gas tank off, the throttle cables. This was a recent issue actually that I want to talk about, because this was sticking recently. And I think it was just the cables being, I don't know, it's a mix of three things. I think there was a loose cable here, a loose nut, which could have been a part of the issue, and then I also lubed both of the cables, so that could have been part of the reason why they might have been too dry, and this box might have been a bit too tight as well. So those are the three things that I think could have happened, but lubing them fixed the issue, as long as tightening this and not like overly tightening the box itself. But yeah, again, nothing like major in terms of issues. And the old tires, they weren't horrible, like they were fine, to be honest. It wasn't like anything bad. They were still definitely rideable, but I just saw like a slight amount of dry rot in the front one, and also because of that like little spot, the curb spot or whatever, I just figured I'd just get them changed, and just because I'd done the brake pads as well, so I was like, might as well just kind of make it like start from brand new, make everything as new as possible. And there's some other damage, for slight damage, because this clip here is broken, so this doesn't go in fully. But yeah, overall it's a great bike. The Ninja 300 is very, very cheap to own, compared to like other bikes, and definitely compared to a car. The gas mileage on this is like 40 to 50 miles per gallon, and it's very cheap to ride. Oil change, you can do it yourself, it's about like 40 bucks, which isn't horrible, and it probably could be cheaper if you're buying like the oil in like bulk or something, or like a bigger container, because the Walmart I go to only has like the 10W40, so in like the 1 quart or like the 1 liter containers, so those are like 10 to 11 bucks. But it's the good stuff, and I definitely push this bike, so I think it's worth it. And I've been trying to stick to doing the oil changes around 3,000 to 3,500 miles, because it's definitely cheaper to do oil changes than having a new motor on a new engine on this thing. So I think it's definitely worth it, especially because I'm doing it myself. They're not like super expensive either. It's only, like I said, like about 40 bucks for the oil change itself, and once you get the hang of it, it's only like takes like an hour at the most, that including like cleanup and other like preparation, or even just like buying the oil itself. Once you get the hang of it, it's not too long, and also disposing it might take a little bit longer actually, so it's like, let's just say like an hour and a half or something like that. But yeah, the only thing like I would consider doing in the future probably is a new chain and like sprockets, but for now they're fine because they take pretty good care of them. And then yeah, that's pretty much it. Mods wise, I think it's fine. If anything, I might get a new headlight or like something brighter, because riding this bike at night is very hard. Even with a clear visor, it's just so hard to see stuff, so that's another issue. But yeah, crash bars have been nice. They're also stunt cages pretty much. I don't wheelie or anything like that, but they would help your bike a lot in terms of a crash if you were wheeling and stuff. But yeah, I've actually never gotten pulled over on this bike either, so I've definitely done my fair share of like stupid stuff, but never gotten pulled over on this bike, thankfully. And it's been like, it's coming up on a year actually since I've gotten pulled over. That was in my car. But yeah, I use Waze, definitely recommend it. I know some people put their radar detectors on here, but it's just a harder setup, and because I am in Virginia, they're technically illegal. Not technically, but they are illegal, so it's just harder on a bike to hide it, because if they do see you with it, they're probably going to give you a ticket if they're bored enough. So it's just not that worth it to do it on a bike. But I do definitely use Waze, and it has saved me more times than I can count. I definitely recommend it. It's just one of the best apps there for information, not even related to cops. If you're just driving normally, it's still important information. Like, it tells you about like traffic closures, like 1-lane roads, like, I mean, like with construction, like if it's a 2-lane, it goes into 1 lane. It helps with that, and it also just helps with like if there's a car on the road, if there's a hazard on the road, object on the road. It's just nice information to know, and yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Just trying to see if I forgot anything. Yeah, it's fairly easy to work on. You got to get tools and stuff, obviously, but yeah, it's fairly easy. Like the main equipment you need is just like basic tools for the most part, and like a rear stand for some work on the back. And if you were doing like front tire stuff, you should probably get a front stand too. But yeah, it's fairly easy to own. It's a fairly small bike too. Insurance is pretty cheap. Costs on it are very cheap compared to like other stuff. And there are things that could add up, but definitely in terms of ownership, it's way cheaper and affordable to own and maintain. And they're a pretty safe bike. Like, this one doesn't have ABS or like wheelie control or traction control, but it's like, you really honestly don't need any of that. You just need to work on your riding skills and teaching your brain and stuff certain scenarios, and just riding appropriately for situations. And there are some things you possibly couldn't foresee or control, but even in those situations, it's not like any features on a bike would save you. It might help slightly reduce damage, but for the most part, your skills are what's going to save you. If anything like insane were to happen, your skills, your brain, and just your riding ability. But yeah, overall, it's been a fantastic bike. I love it, and I would definitely recommend buying one. On highways, yes, it does kind of feel slow at times, especially if it's like a fairly like average speed fast highway. Like if everybody's going like 90 or like 80 to 90 miles per hour, it obviously does end up feeling slow at times, because your max speed is only like 110 to 115. So it's like you only kind of got like a small 20 miles an hour to work with if you're trying to like ride fast or like pass people and stuff like that. But off the line, it's definitely faster than like 80% of cars for the most part. Obviously, any other bike that's not a 300cc is probably going to beat you off the line if they're like trying and stuff, I mean. But yeah, for the most part, like on average, you're going to have a lot of fun with it, and you definitely pick it up quick. It's definitely a fun bike to ride, even if your high-end speed isn't fun. It's super fun to like take on curves and just like kind of play around with it, because it's super light, so it's just like way easier to like move around. It's pretty easy at low speeds. It's just way easier to control and like ride and just kind of work on, you know. So compared to like heavier bikes, like super sports or like 1000cc's, they're a lot heavier, so it's just a lot harder to like make U-turns or like slow speed riding, like city riding. Because those bikes, if you're going slow, they just like start dying, or like, oh, they might overheat, because like they literally don't want to go slow, you know. They're built to go fast, and it's like when you're going that slow, it just sucks. So yeah, overall, nothing major on the bike in terms of issues. The rear brake pad was cooked though. It was like pretty much rusted, and when I took the pad off the rotor, they just like fell down. So I wish he told me about that when I bought it. But overall, nothing major. Definitely like issues that are not like anything crazy or like cost like so much to like repair or fix, thankfully, at least. And this bike has almost 28,400, yeah, almost 28,400 miles on it. So like, that's a lot of miles for a bike. Not anything insane. I could probably get like at least another 50K out of it, you know. So yeah, definitely not anything crazy. And yeah, thankfully there hasn't been anything crazy in terms of repairs or maintenance. Most expensive thing being tires, because these are good ones too. That's why they were that expensive too. 'Cause obviously I don't want to cheap out on tires, so they're very important. The three most important things would probably be like tires, brakes, and then throttle. And obviously everything's important, but the three most, in terms of like day-to-day, every situation being important, those three are probably the most important, probably. So and I'll definitely keep your mirrors. I know a lot of people do like mirror deletes and stuff, but mirrors are very important. It's very important to look behind you, and it's very important to ride smart and position yourself safely when you're riding. So yeah, you always want to see. Obviously, sometimes it's hard to even see what is behind you even with mirrors, but it will definitely help and can definitely help prevent possible like rear end collisions or stuff like that. But that's pretty much it for this part. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This is gonna be the second video, also filmed on May 1st, but I hope you guys enjoyed. Peace.